Developing tonight, a political feud between once cordial former colleagues is now playing out in a bitter public showdown. Last month, Azra Nomani publicly proclaimed support for Donald Trump in a Washington Post op-ed titled, "I'm a Muslim, a woman, and an immigrant. I voted for Trump." Since then, Nomani says she's been verbally harassed by Georgetown University Associate Professor C. Christine Fair, who's expressed outrage and disgrace through a series of private Twitter exchanges, saying things like, quote, "I've written you off as a human being. Your vote helped normalize Nazis in D.C. What don't you understand, you clueless dolt?" Another reads, quote, "You're a fame-mongering clown show. You voted for a hateful bigot. You now want civility and respect. You are responsible for this." The Kelly file offered Christine Fair an opportunity to appear on this program to respond, but she politely declined, citing threats from some of Mr. Trump's supporters and concerns for her safety. Fair disputes Nomani's claim, saying in part, quote, "I made it clear that I did not want to engage her. I have a right to disagree with a public figure who has defended as bravery what others like myself find indefensible." Joining me now is Azra Nomani, author of Standing Alone, An American Woman's Struggle for the Soul of Islam. Azra, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Do you mind telling us a little bit about what happened here? This was somebody who you used to know, you used to work with. You put out this piece speaking publicly, showing your public support for Donald Trump. And then she did what?
Well, you know, this feud, as you call it, you know, is something that I think is playing out in so many homes and so many families. And so I chose to speak out because what happened is that Christine Fair wrote to me on Facebook, that wonderful medium, and said, "We're done," after I had published my piece. I said, okay, that's fine, you know, I've lost a friend, but that's how it goes. But subsequently, she continued to start this barrage of messages on Twitter, not private messages, but public messages, calling me all sorts of names. And I know as a parent, as an educator, that there are principles that we need to live by. One of them is service to humanity, and the other is civility. In our country today, we are so divided on so many fronts, and what we need to do is appeal to each other with decency. When I tried to do that, she told me to F off. And I think that what we need to do is ultimately look into each other's hearts, try to understand each other, and speak to each other with civility.
And as we told you, we invited her on the program tonight to get her side of the story as well. She was originally going to come on, but she said she's now facing threats from Trump supporters because of what she has done here and because of what you have said that she has done. She did kind of give us an idea of where she would have gone, and she said that this has been a mob of unending, crazed, violent nuttery based upon an inaccurate telling of events. Is it possible that you see this two completely different ways and it's being interpreted differently by both of you?
Well, I think, you know, this is the dynamics of bullying. A bully will always try to turn the facts so that they become the victim. And unfortunately, that's what we have going on here. I appealed to Georgetown University to intervene because this is not just a private citizen. This is an educator, and this is a place that I care about as an institution. This is a principle that we have to stand up for in all of our families, in our communities, in our workplaces, that bullies cannot demean others.
Do you think she should be fired?
I would never go that far with anybody because I ultimately have hope for salvation, and I ultimately have forgiveness in my heart and compassion. I know that the anger that many people feel over the election of Donald Trump comes from a place of pain. And I know that what we have to do as a country is find healing. But there's no excuse for demeaning others, and that's what I wanted to stand up for. Ultimately, what I hope is we can all be safe.
I would love to just know what your life has been like. This is obviously part of it, the story you're telling us tonight. Since you openly showed your support for Trump as a woman, as a Muslim.
Well, Sandra, you know, I'm speaking to you. My breath sometimes stops at my chest because this is not a difficult conversation to be had. I have had many people who have, you know, told me that I'm a traitor to my Muslim community, to America. As a young girl, I came to this country at 4, not knowing any English. I have never felt unwelcome in this country. But after this election, my fellow liberals, unfortunately, have turned me into an enemy as if I have horns on my head. And that's not a comfortable feeling. But ultimately, I do believe that we all have our civic duty to vote as we wish. And whatever struggle there is, I know that it makes my soul stronger, and that's what I hope for everybody, that withstands this kind of assault with grace, because that's what we must ultimately do.
All right. Well, clearly it's been a struggle for you to tell your story. Thank you for coming on tonight and telling it to our audience.
Thank you so much, and I wish well to everyone.
All right.